Jedi Mike nephew. What's up?
How you guys doing? How you guys doing?
Morning. Good.
Morning.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I just saying I loved in the conversation you guys have, and because I know again talking about godly relationships though is not really something that's not it might be saying it's being spoke about in these spaces, but not taken seriously. We always keep saying that there's always wolf in sheep's clothing, and there's a lot of these content creators like the profit off of it just for knowing the things they're saying. They're not doing that in their own household. And I made sure with my woman that especially when we're seeing this YouTube spaces that we try to keep us forcing boundaries of terms listen, some of this is hypocrisy. You have to identify, and that's what you have to increase, not letting these ideologies kind of cloud your judgment. And because when we talk about submission, I never asked my woman for submission. I put in the comments that I told her that you submit the Christ within me, and I'm not submitting my full authority to Christ and I have nothing to stand on, i.e. the foundation, right? Because and think about building a home, the house that's built on sand will never stand, right? And what happened is that when we have these type of ideologies for the sake of ego, sake of putting a facade up there, just for the sake of people thinking, look, he's alpha, he look at him, oh my God, right? But then what happening is that the house is because the foundation is sand, it's gonna crumble eventually, right? When a storm comes through, and that's why most marriages and relationships don't last long, because with the fairy tale of saying that we don't endure through storms and hardships and stuff doesn't make it easy. Everybody want weddings, we don't want marriages, right? But even then, our marriage should be a ministry metaphor, and the reason why my woman, why I chose her, because she's a walking ministry. Every time how much she advocates for the Lord and Holy Spirit and everything like that, and then again what her influence adds on me in terms of in moments where as a man, we just might deal with this life in terms of what the worldly, wisdom we might get from people. But I also believe that, such wisdom can be earthly, unspiritual, or demonic, right? So you have to understand that there's people that might want to say and give you type of advice or counsel, but obviously if the foundation is not Christ, in my personal opinion, it's not going to stand for me.
Let me look real quick. This young man just turned 24.
Mm-hmm.
This young man just turned 24. And he is so insightful. Is it the young lady that I met the other night?
Listen, I can't.
Okay, never mind.
I plead the fifth.
Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4,
right.
Fifth. But whatever. I like I said, keep it offline, keep your auntie, But like I said, you have a really good point. Seek marital counseling, premarital counseling, because like I said, we were in our 50s. This is my second marriage. And I didn't do premarital counseling first. But I still remember what our counselor said to me, what a man needs. I remember it in the order: respect, loyalty, intimacy.
Let's see. Right.
Have I forgotten any of that, babe?
Say it again.
Have I forgotten any of that?
No, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would, and I wouldn't
wait
say.
a minute. Go ahead, babe. Go ahead.
No, sorry. You got to say, Mr. Randolph?
No, go ahead. I was just going to say that loyalty, I think for men is at the top. It's A1 at the top of the list. But go ahead, man.
Yeah. I will say, Auntie, I'll just say that your discernment and everything like that is not broken. I'll just say that in terms of your last question. I'm like, yeah.
Gotcha.
But in terms of I am engagement is literally right around the corner. Right now I'm about to graduate in a month and a half and stuff, and I just actually got a full-time position job now, and I'm starting before I graduate. And out of college though, same terms of what I'm making, that's nothing but God, because beginning before our relationship, I had nothing. I was in between jobs. He was making more money than me and all this stuff, which this another disposal about myth and stuff. Again, just in 2 or 3 months time, because again, I just know what I want for myself and our relationship and stuff like that. It just, again, God just, was able to bless me in terms of this job I'm going to have starting out of college. And again, now we're planning on having, combined incomes and everything once we're married. But again, I just believe in terms of obedience and everything. That just, again, that leads to a lot of blessings that again that we know we already have given, that we know what is going to be given to us. For example, like, everyone's saying, I'm just praying for my man, I'm praying for my woman, all this stuff, right? Okay, the prayer's been answered. It's like, I think people are like, not saying make a mistake of constantly praying for the same thing. Like, God knows your hearts and desires, but the thing is, he also knows when you're not prepared to or equipped to handle it. So again, sometimes he might test you, might give it to you prematurely and say, listen, now you knew what you asked for, now are you, in terms of the man or the woman, that actually now able to cultivate the blessing that I had in store for you, or now you got to wait a little bit longer and be disciplined and follow my word. Again, it's just like, I keep saying, like, these violent delights can have violent ends. Well,
let me go ahead and offer you this too, and it's good. And here's where the loyalty comes in, baby. Correct me if I'm wrong. You talked about, when y'all got together. And again, a couple of things. You were doing the right thing by protecting her. Because even though I'm in these YouTube streets, Mr. Randolph is very adamant about protecting me. If he sees stuff getting too, because he knows me, he knows I care. If he sees me getting too stressed or whatever, he asks me. He said, "Now this is still a hobby, right?" Or he'll ask me. He says, he'll grow me. Like basically, okay, if I have to step in, it's a shutter downer. So, but that's protecting me even from myself. But let's go back to the loyalty thing. Yes, you said when you all started dating, she was making more than you and blah, blah, blah. But the loyalty is, say, for instance, because there may be a time when you all are together and say, for instance, something happens unexpectedly, your company shuts down. We go through another pandemic. It may obliterate your job, but she still has hers. The loyalty comes in when she's like, babe, we're going to work through this together. I got it until you get another thing. That's where the loyalty comes to continue to lift you up, to continue to support you. Babe, tell about, they've heard it from me, but tell about the situation. Remember with Celadon and how that made you feel.
Yeah, I worked for a company for just about 2 decades, and they went bankrupt and pretty much shut everything down. And I always thought this company was so big, they couldn't possibly screw it up. You heard the term "too big to fail." Well, they failed, and they were big. So, after being somewhere for a long time, it kind of not just become a job, become this, way of life. Of kind of, a lot of people. It's almost like a family,
right?
So it wasn't so much monetary with me. My plan was to retire with that company, but it didn't happen that way. So this woman right next to me was there to encourage me and to tell me things that was beneficial at the time, because she could tell that I was disoriented. I was all kind of ways,
right,
in a twilight zone, pretty much, but not out of my mind, because I know I can get a job, in that particular field. But she was there to support me and to and like she said, was very, very loyal and not feeling that I had to do something real quick. Matter of fact, it worked out fine because she was about to have surgery, and I needed to be home anyway. So while I was without a job, I was there for her to help her get back on our feet from her surgery. So it worked out perfectly, looking back at it. So even though it didn't feel that way at first, but it worked out as planned, and she was a part of it. She was a part of that plan. So Yeah, man, loyalty is very, very important, and like I said, is at the top of the list along with the other two. So yeah.
No, but like right there, like this what I'm saying. This is beautiful. Is that I'm watching just how Auntie teaches like her mannerisms with you. Like even you're telling your story, she was comforting you. Like even talking about as a woman, you're cultivating the heart of a man. Even that also not means in terms of like she's sitting next to you, she's like they're comforting you, and she's not provoking. Like, oh, okay, well you got to make that when we have set plans, expectations, and sometimes they can be our downfall. Because like you never expect that company to go bankruptcy, but then look at I said look at God in terms of like also the moment of time in your relationship where you needed to be there. Again, I just think is that it's just about life is about sacrifices, choices and trade-offs.